Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being our kind of keep following us. And we will, and this will be our last episode. And the reason why we do this is because we will have a lot of new, I would say, shows and also like a membership plans, community supports coming up. And yeah, so today is the last years that the last episodes of this year. Yeah, well, and we love to kind of just like a live streaming and see if anybody join us today. And yeah, so this week, I think we did a lot of reflections, and we really want to kind of provide you with a better XR support. And also, we want to create more engaging live streaming and shows. For example, like I would say the 2024, which will be 2 days later or one day, or after 2 days, it will be 2024. So this week, I want to just have a kind of like a just a short talk if nobody joins and wrap it up. Yeah, so wow, must wow, we have people joining. Wow, that's great. Cool. Hello. Hey, hey, Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Marcelo, right? Marcelo. Hello, Marcelo.
Hello, Dominique.
Hey, where are you from? Italy, right? Italy. Italy.
Yes, yes. Where are you?
Um, San Francisco or somewhere there around San Francisco, 20 minutes away.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So this I would say this episode is pretty much the last episode that we are going to say goodbye to 2023 and embracing 2024. And I'm really surprised there's anybody show up because I was like, okay, I just show up and say, appreciation. And also, we will stop this show and we will turn to more like dynamic and more, I would say, experimental XR shows, which we will do every 3 days row. Every 3 days, we will have a kind of like a either events or gameplay sharing or UX analysis. I don't know. We are still like chatting about it in our internal team, and possibly we will live streaming on Twitch, YouTube Live, and also LinkedIn Live. Yeah, I don't know what life we can get, but we are still like preparing about it. And this is just a little bit, information for you to know that um, because extra weekly news, I think it's great. Um, for me to kind of force me to wake up very early and start reading the news, which is great. And yeah, I think by running this show, I started this XReality weekly news back in 2019, and my goal was I just show up, right? And I don't know who will show up, and sometimes just me talking to myself. Yeah, and yeah, and it's just force me or make me to wake up early and start reading the news and start kind of like reporting back. And it also helps my English. I remember at the beginning nobody really understand what I was trying to say, and I have a very heavy accent. But during this training for myself, I think I speak better English right now. Yeah, so yeah. Wow, we got a lot of people joining. This is crazy. Hello, Peter. Hey, Happy New Year. Wow, we got a lot of people watch the show. Hello, Peter. Okay, give me a sec. Hello, Peter, I think you mute yourself. Or it's mute by default. Hello, Peter. Can you hear me? Okay, it's fine. Oh, stuck muted. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I just appreciate like our community is always supportive. And yeah, Happy New Year's. And we will change our show or XR Weekly News to more like hey, Happy New Year. We will change our show into more like a XR experimental lab. Because, for example, in our community, we have Holman, right? He always wants to, Holman, if you are here, you can share, feel free to pop in. I think Holman wants to create a very cool, like open source, something like a VR chat, but on the open source. And his vision is to make everybody able to download a source code and create your own metaverse. And I told him that if you can do that, your name will be on Wikipedia, because I think it's very important for us to kind of like doing more, execute more, because I mean, I think XR Weekly News is great. It kind of upgrade us and learn more about XR every week. But I think for XR, it's not just talk. It's more just do it, right? And just play it, just try it. So we will do more experimental stuff. And according to my understanding, that Twitch, if we want to keep the hype, we need to do it every 3 days. So far, I think we got a couple people and we will do the rotating. The format will be every 3 days, we will have somebody to show up. I usually refer that, hey, we got a stage, we got audience, and we need a monkey. I don't want to say monkey, but somebody just to be on the stage and entertain people for an hour. So that's the goal. I mean, I wouldn't try to make everything like so formal and extremely professional, means that there's no mistakes, but I would say that we just put ourselves out there and just try things, right? So the next show will be more like experimental lab things that, for example, Peter, give you an hour, give you audience, give you a stage. What will you show? What types of stuff you want to share, right? So something like that, we kind of want to, and I wouldn't say that who is the expert, who is not, because XR is such a huge area and it's multidisciplinary or cross-platform. Everything is different, and we want people from different background to share the your skills. So if you are interested in joining us, feel free to reach out to me. For example, like my email, or ping me on LinkedIn if you are interested in teaching workshops or skill share. We are open for all those types of requests, because I believe that everybody has something that other people doesn't know, right? For example, Peter, you know something that I don't know. And Marcelo, you know something, you speak better Italian than me. So you know something that I don't know. And I believe that the stage doesn't really limit it to the stereotype of, oh, you work in XR for a couple of years and you are the expert. I think that everybody has everything they want to share, and everybody can bring something on the table. Yeah, cool. Vahe, do you want to jump in? Hey, Happy New Year. Yeah, thank you, Vahe. And thank you, Matt. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Dominique,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
what are your plans for the new year in XR?
No, what's that? Can you say that again? I mean, your Italian is amazing, and I need to improve my Italian. Can you say that again?
Tu riesci a capirmi?
Huh? What's that?
Riesci a capire il mio italiano?
No, I don't know that.
Do you speak Italian?
No, I don't speak that.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. I little English.
Oh, no worries. I mean, little English. I start with, yeah, I remember my first year when I was in art center, my teacher said that when he remembered me, he remember I was sitting at the end of the class and always smelling because I don't know what he's talking about. And I don't want to be noticed. So yeah, so it's all good. Yeah, we are. I'm immigrant, so yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So
Good.
yes. So anything, Peter? Anything you want to share?
I made the mistake of taking 5 years of Latin, not very practical.
Latin. Wow. Can you cast some spells on anything and then make something magic? I don't know. I feel like if you learn Latin, you probably can make, I don't know, the carpet fly or, make the cup dancing, something like that.
Oh, the fake Latin and Harry Potter is so painful.
Wow, cool. Yeah. Anybody want to share maybe 2024 New Year resolutions and maybe how XReality Pro can help you? Because later on we will have some cool stuff like experimental lab and show. We just push people on the stage. We give you audience, we give you stage, and you will be the monkey. I don't want to say monkey, but it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, you just be there and see what you have. Just entertain everybody. Yeah. Sounds fun. Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead, Peter.
Dominique,
Hey.
what are your projects for the new year in XR with the Oculus Quest 3?
Oh, interesting projection. I mean, I am not a fortune teller. I couldn't really say anything about future, but I would say that if you read AWE blog, you go to awexr.com. They have a couple of really good blogs, articles. One of it is 2024 will be it will be the rock star year for mixed reality. Why? Because first, the Vision Pro will launch. Rumor has said it will launch around February. Yeah, and Jim just told me that hey, he was trying to book app the lab, right? Vision Pro lab, developer lab. He he saw he didn't see January coming up. I went 3 times, and the last time was December. And January was not even open, which means it's very likely February. Something will happen at the beginning of the year because they don't need testers, right? They don't need debugger or developers to give them feedback anymore. It's very likely. And besides, I saw a lot of people share Vision Pro will launch February. So that might be a good indicators that, yeah, Vision Pro will go, right? And Quest 3, do you have Quest 3?
Vision Pro?
Vision Pro? Or you mean Quest 3? Have you tried Quest 3? Have you tried? Have you tried?
Do you repeat, please?
Oh, have you tried or do you have Quest 3?
Yes.
Yeah, you have Quest 3. Yeah, so I would say that Quest 3 so far because I mean I tried Vision Pro. I mean, I can say something that is already there. Vision Pro is definitely a very, very comfortable headset. That's for sure. And what else? It's very expensive, right? So it's definitely not for consumer. Yeah, but it's a very good milestone indicator for Apple because Apple is opening another brand new categories, which is Vision Pro. So if you see all their developer page, they have like a new icon which has a new category. So I think, and I saw a lot of like Vision Pro types of news because right now, iOS 15 or like iPhone 15, you can create a lot of like a LiDAR type, kind of like a in depth. You can see like the videos, but very it's like the video is not flat. The video has depth sensors, so which will increase the immersiveness inside Vision Pro. So I can see Apple is trying to create all the Apple product into an integration of Vision Pro. And I can see that Apple is slowly, I don't want to do any prediction because I know Apple doesn't want third party to represent them to do any prediction for them because they are the perfect. Every time when I talk to Apple people, they always say we are perfect. Everything is perfect. So yeah, I don't want to predict anything for anybody who say they're perfect. But I would say that you can see the strict regulation or the wall. You see, Apple has a wall, right? Because if you want to develop Apple, there are a lot of things you need to crack in. And I was surprised that they kind of partner with Unity and then to develop Vision Pro. And very obviously compare with Unity, Xcode doing immersive game was not as professional or as long history as Unity. So there might be a chance that the wall of the Apple has a very strong walls to avoid any integration of other platforms. That and if you see that XR is cross-platform thing. And in my book, upcoming book, I have one rule, which means that if you want to develop XR apps, you need to be cross-platform because everybody's platform is different. And it becomes a spatial or a digital world that everybody can enter in different device, different time, right? And use different things. And if we have this kind of digital layer of the virtual world, then if you only have Apple, it feels like the wall, the strong wall, will start disappear or yeah. So it's very interesting just to see that. And just go back to your question, Quest 3. Quest 3 is definitely for consumer, around 500. And oh, okay, Peter, say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of my resolutions for the new year is to get a headset, but I'm really torn as to what to get. I don't want to get trapped in a walled garden where anything I write is only going to be good for that platform ecosystem, where I've got to be under the thumb of
Oh,
Facebook or under the thumb of Apple.
oh, yeah. I mean,
So I'm not sure
yeah.
what would be the right way to go on that.
Mm.
So any advice there? I'd kind of like to have something that's Linux based if there was
Yeah,
something
right.
that was good enough as far as the quality.
Are you developer? Are you developer?
Programmer and independent scholar.
Oh, interesting.
Although formerly trained as an attorney, but we
Oh,
won't.
attorney.
I'm
It's
recovering.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I can see a lot of people, they are master in language or a master in music. They love I have a friend. He is a master in music. He's a performer and he's a world class musician. And he is also a very good programmer. He also a CTO, create the entire platform from scratch. And I talked to him. He said that music and programming pretty much is the same thing. I was like, okay, I don't understand, but I believe you because he's mastering in both. But I believe, in some point of truth level, the law, regulation, and the strictness or the flexibility of the programming is probably the
Yeah, the two
same.
fields are highly complementary.
Even though I couldn't tell what's the similarity, but I mean, yeah, at
There's a
some
wonderful
point,
community. There's a wonderful community called Codex that looks at all of the technology
huh,
applied in a legal context. That's out of Stanford, and they
Oh,
have
wow.
regular
You know,
meetups.
Peter, later on, maybe we can think offline. We can give you 1 hour for you to share how similar that law and programming language is the same. Just teach us. We
We certainly
couldn't
want to move it
see
in that direction.
what do you want to do? Yeah, for the new year.
Well, for the new year, my favorite programming language now is Imba, and
Bimba.
Imba has web tags as first-class elements within the language, which is really nice. So what I want to do is see if I can get A-frame to work inside.
Oh,
Imba. So
airframe.
that's like the #1 goal for programming for the new year.
Oh, you know what? I think Homer wants to teach Babylon JS. He said that Babylon JS is the it is better than Airframe because Airframe is start discontinuing supporting a lot of device. And I mean, Ephraim, he told me that Babylon JS is probably the best way to start. And I saw a lot of like a WebXR. It it use OpenXR as as a plugin or as a platform. And if you use OpenXR, you can do cross platform.
Oh, I'll have to look at
Um,
that.
yeah. Take a look, and maybe when Holman take over the stage, because Holman was involving with the community. He was like, I want to teach you. I want to teach something. And I was like, okay. And Kate wants to teach something, and see if you are interested. See, because for me, I think the best way to learn is to teach, right? And I always kind of give myself some interesting project, and I always give myself a deadline, like, oh, next week I'm going to teach XYZ. And to be honest with you, I almost learn simultaneously when the course launch. It's just like, oh, there's a deadline and I have to learn and I have to teach. And by teaching, you learn much more. So yeah, maybe, come up with a topic that you are interested, and every week show up an hour and just practice and just share. And we have a community, and yeah, and people love to learn from you. I mean, I learned from Prashasti a lot, right? I didn't even know like CodePen or like the editor thing, and she even shared like the JavaScript, and I even look at the airframe. There are a lot of cool stuff. For example, you can add rigid body collider, WebXR, which I was like, oh, I thought only Unity or only game engine you can do that. But yeah, now a lot of things start changing. Yeah, so yeah, let me know. Yeah, I mean, I think we are for community, and we want to help people to have their career, because actually I find out that companies doesn't really need a lot of staffs right now, right? And they want to cut costs, they want to maximize profit, and I can see more self-employed, or people who do their own thing and trying to profit. And yeah, who say yes, yeah, okay, Peter. Yeah, so I think instead of, because I saw the traditional college is still like a job, or helping students to find jobs, more focus on that. And what I'm thinking is that maybe XReality, um I mean, I feel like that's super cool, because I learned from um there's a video talking about how Elon Musk teaching uh his kids. There's no curriculum, there's no grade, like, oh, you need to pass this certain grade, which is totally different, opposite from Asian education. I remember when I was very young, everything need to be a certain way, and we have grading and very strict. But it seems like Elon Musk train his kid, which is that let the kid do whatever they want, kind of like that, and then they reinforce that strength, and there's no grading, and it just pushing that specific area and just very deep and go through that and directly jump into the problem solving without prior knowledge. And very similar to hackathon education. So every time when I create curriculum, I even have a bunch of curriculum project-based things, and which is like, oh, you need to have step-by-step, learning, right? You have class 1 or like a step 1 and follow each step and you will get there, right? But I find out that XR is such a huge area. And I understand that step by step is easy to follow, but now you see AI, right? You just ask something and something just pop up and everybody becomes really ADD and you just learn here and you start jumping to here and you learn things like not a linear way, but everywhere. So maybe instead of creating a really long course or 3 months course and everybody needs to follow a certain way, why not we give them like a big problems or something, right? Like a hackathon way. Like we give you problems and you don't know what's going on. You don't have any prior knowledge. You just jump in and start mixing things and start testing things out and start getting failed and start just figure your way out like life, right? There's no certain way of doing certain things. You just figure yourself out. So I don't know whether this is types of education is cool or not, but I think, yeah, you just figure yourself out. We give you problems. We believe you. You have ChatGPT. You know everything. Yeah, so that's my thought. But I don't know whether this is too chaotic or not. But I mean, I'm still thinking about it.
Well, the scary thing with ChatGPT is its ability to come up with hallucinations that look so convincing that you don't bother to fact check them. Beautiful case in point, I was asking it to recommend some hypertext papers. I've been part of the hypertext community for decades now, and it suggested a paper by one of my closest friends. So I dropped him an email. Did you write this paper? And of course, he never wrote any such paper. The description of the paper's positions were antithetical to everything he'd ever written, so I knew something's really wrong here. But unless I was part of that community and had that grounding in the literature, I wouldn't have had any clue that it was sending me completely bogus guidance. So that's really scary. I've always longed for people to make more use of old-fashioned symbolic AI, where you have chains of logical reasoning that can be followed. And it's not the nice, shiny, ooh, we'll throw a neural network at everything. Okay, neural networks, it's great for word sense disambiguation. That's definitely the area where it should be a subsystem, but you really want to have real parsing. But nobody wants to do parsing anymore, which is quite sad. The academic courses are all just diving into one. Everything's going to be neural network based now, and now everything's going to be large language model based. And you have everybody chasing the shiny star. Meanwhile, they're abandoning all of the older technologies, which on modern hardware could be given completely new life. The reason the first generation of AI bottomed out was because the computer hardware available in the early 1980s didn't have enough memory to be able to cope with it. And that's a complete non-issue now. So techniques that were abandoned because of hardware limitations, they could be revisited. And people aren't doing it because, again, everybody's just chasing the new shiny thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I saw like one Apple News. It says that school teachers are so worried about the future of the human beings. For example, like the children, like the little children, they couldn't read. Why? Because they play games. Yeah, they couldn't read book because that's too long. You see, like TikTok is just like a 5 seconds of stimulation, right? And it's more and more. In game, it's all about stimulation. And kids cannot read, which is probably really sad because I can tell you how my mom raised me. My mom, when I was very young, she didn't allow me to play video games, which kind of my rebel me kind of start growing when I get older and I start playing games a lot. Yeah, my mom didn't allow me to play video games, and I couldn't read comic books. Yeah, because my mom, when there's options, for example, like, oh, historical book and historical comic books, she picked the really boring text. She said that, oh, I want to train your literature skills instead of just just look at the picture and see like a super short thing. Yeah, so I mean, I think in the future, the long format of articles nobody will read. By the way, go back to the AI thing. Yeah, AI in education is very convenient for adults, but for kids, I mean, I don't know. They might kind of miss the opportunity to handwrite their thoughts. And a lot of people said that AI will replace or people start losing their voice. Because, for example, if you write an email, sometimes if something important, I would ask ChatGPT to rewrite it. But it loses the authenticities of the human, everybody's true voice, right? So that's another thing. Hello, David.
Well, I really like your mother's approach there. I strongly
Yeah,
approve.
yeah. So I can tell you, I couldn't really read comic books, and my background is art, which is very crazy, and I couldn't. It's just too short, and I don't even get what's going on. It's sad that everybody read comic books, and I can read the super long, boring text. Yeah, so
Well,
that's just
Other
the option. Hello, David. Wow, we got a lot of people. Did you guys celebrate?
I got to figure out the sound issues.
Oh, cool. Yeah, actually, this is the
Not hearing.
last episode of XReality Weekly News. But I mean, later on we will change to every 2 or 3 days. We will rotate, make this platform a stage. We have audience and we have a stage, and see, if anybody here wanna do a skill share, or wanna do some XR share, yeah, we can just contact me and we can figure something out. We will live streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and also, wow, David, and well, also LinkedIn Live. So we provide stage, and this weekly news will turn into something more interactive, and yeah, more like a fun and experimental. For example, if you play a really fun XR game, yeah, share with us, streaming from your headset, share with us what you see and what you think for an hour. And the next person can be, hey, I want to share with you like a Babylon JS. What's Babylon JS? And I would say that everyone has everything, have something that we want to learn from. And in XR, the interesting thing is that I personally think there's no so-called expert, which is good or bad. It's up to you. But I believe everybody has something that we can all learn from. So yeah, this will be a stage where, I still think that technology and the XR related topic. Yeah, and I just saw there's one, Aditi just left a comment. She thinks that, wow, it might be cool to see what's the similarity between law and programming. So you see, like, I think everybody knows something that we can all learn from. So I think I will open this stage, and right now I'm planning like every 3 days we share some interesting things, or skills, and later on maybe we can turn into a workshop, right? And I believe that company doesn't need a lot of staff anymore. So in the future, we can all start our own brand. You start having your own pirate ship, right? You have your own little journey, right? And we kind of help you to build a community that everybody support each other. And yeah, so that's kind of what we are looking, or what we are aiming for. Yeah.
Oh, I just dropped
yeah.
a classic book reference in the chat. Cyberspace First Steps. I don't know if any of you ever seen it before. It was an early book that pretty much predated hardware that we have today, but it envisioned ideas about what cyberspace could be like. And it had, the editor was Benedict, so it's described in the academic literature as Benedictine cyberspaces. And the neat idea is that they were full VR, where the space itself would have arbitrary bindings to different dimensions in a higher dimensional data set. So that you'd start out, you pick 3 dimensions, you describe how you want to have those dimensions assigned to the visualization, and then a point within that space would correspond to a query for all objects within the higher dimensional space whose values that point along those 3 dimensions corresponded to where a probe was located. Or you could have the individual objects visualized in the field. So if you were maneuvering a probe, that would be creating visually in 3 dimensions a 3-dimensional search query, which could then be opened up to unfold another 3-dimensional space with 3 more dimensions in it. And those would be extrinsic dimensions. You could also have the color of the points representing an additional intrinsic dimension, or you could represent 3 intrinsic dimensions with the 3 color coordinates within that space. So you'd have basically an RGB channel representing each 3 separate dimensions, controlling the color of the individual point. But it was really neat. So that was the idea of the Benedictine cyberspace. They're unfolding multiple spaces in the abstract, and I haven't seen that implemented anywhere yet, and I'd really like to at some point coming up.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen anything like another dimension, or travel anywhere to different dimension? Just a question. Have
Yeah,
you
I haven't
seen?
seen anyone implement spaces like that currently. Because I mean, the neat thing is the idea that you select either an object
Hmm.
or the point could represent the query itself, and then unfolding it to have basically a whole series of chain spaces, and you could grab the point within any of them and change it to alter the other views. So
Yeah.
instead of
Okay.
trying to describe search queries with some sort of a complex textual language, you're just using the probes to move around.
Wow. Yeah. So maybe you can share with us. I mean, that book looks promising, and yeah, maybe share with us every week 1 chapter and see. Yeah, just it will be interesting to learn like different dimension. I just questioning how can we represent different dimension stuff. Probably only use math, right? Math, you can use math to represent different dimensions, even quantum, I don't know, like what was that? Quantum mechanics, or the string theory, those types of things that you only represent through math. And all because I read a book called, there are 2 books, and it's very interesting. One is Alice in Wonderland, another one is Alice in Quantum Land. And Alice in Quantum Land, it's pretty much Alice was inside a super tiny world, which is kind of like a string theory. And in that kind of comic books, it has a lot of visualizations of the world that you describe, like, oh, different dimensions. But I would say that because right now this dimension is XYZ plus time, right? So you have this 3-dimension world, and also there's a time. And I'm wondering other dimensions. Yeah, how can you even using 2D platform? Yeah, like our representations to reimagine, like how
then
can you even visualize that?
You can have spaces that wrap back on themselves. So if you travel enough in one direction, you re-arrive at your starting point in the loop.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that yeah, there
I
are
told
some
you
different
about those
dimensions.
topics in my intro. I gave a link to the Future Text Publishing series, and I've been providing contributions all through the series.
Oh,
My articles
interesting.
touch on that in a few spots.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all free downloads too. Free download
Wow.
PDFs for all
Amazing.
4 volumes.
Wow. Let me share to the thing. I mean, yeah, so for different dimensions, I do think that for example, like if you I remember there was a movie, I forgot the name, but it was very famous. If you pass through the what's that? The event of horizon, right? Like the black hole, and you go to the place that there's it's like a god, demon, those types of
The
things
black
live in
hole, classic
yeah,
Disney
yeah,
stuff.
the event of horizon, and
One
you
of their
will
few ventures into sci-fi.
yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it is sci-fi or not, but I just feel it's very intriguing to, you know, to be in that world where if you see that movie, it kind of like doing a lot of visualization. For example, like every person's memory, every minute in the timeline, and it becomes a little slice, right? It's like a slice of a person. So you can kind of navigate through because everybody's life is like a big cube, your entire life. And there's a book called like a 3 body or body of 3. I forgot, it's Chinese, but translate into English. Like 3 bodies, something like that. Santi. I don't know how, give me a sec. I need to translate into English. Santi. Oh, Santi. Okay. It's called The 3 Body Problem. Have anybody read that book? The 3 Body Problem. Yeah. And in that novel, it says a person's life is what's that called? A cylinder or not cylinder. It's kind of like a cylinder or like a light. A person's life is like the light, the light of traveling through. It's very interesting. It's very sci-fi-ish, but it's very based on the let me share this. It's called the Santi. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, and I think that Netflix is about to create a show for this. Netflix. Okay, so let me share with you the Netflix thing. Wow, this is like a very interesting last episode that we just jump in and talk whatever we want, which is great. Okay. Anybody want to share anything? We don't have a certain topic. It's just the last episode. I just wrap it up and see what people needs and see how XReality, our community, how we can help. Yeah. Anyone? David, I think you, before you were fixing your audio, anything you want to share?
Yeah. Just real quick. I just got myself the Quest 3
Oh.
when it launched, but haven't had a chance to jump into it yet. Would love to get the Pro, but not able to do that right now.
Yeah, how do you feel about Quest 3?
I haven't had a chance to get deep into it at all. The one thing that's a little concerning is it's looking like um, the depth sensor. I don't know if it's real time or not. So it, like, for instance, if you put your hand up, your hand will actually show will be obscured by the anything that you render.
Yeah.
That's because the depth information is not there. It may be just a limitation of the hardware that is, or the software that was running it. Hopefully, but yeah, that's probably one of the first things I want to look into.
Wow. Yeah, I think the wrap, right, is inevitable because I would say that for Vision Pro, it has a lot of cameras. So I think it might solve the problem. And Quest 3, I mean, I think it's the most affordable and the best quality you can get. For example, $500 you can get those things, and the warping is still it's there, but it's not as crazy as Quest 2 or Quest 1. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
pretty bad, but I think just $500 and you get the best value you can get. Yeah, and I would say that use whatever you can use, right? And for spatial computing, it takes another 3 to 5 years for, just like Amy Lemire said that 3 Cs for the headset to go viral, or 3 Cs for XR. If you wanna upgrade to the higher scale, is that 3 Cs: cost, content, and comfort, right? So costs need to go down. Comfort, we need to create more comfortable experience in XR, and content, we need more content. Yeah, so for me, I will launch a book. Yeah, I need to share with you the book. I've been working on it during Christmas. So yeah, and I will launch it probably around, share with you the book. Yeah, we're just talking like whatever we want to say something, we just say it. No script. Yeah, so yeah, this is my book. I am kind of targeting on more like comfort issues, and I kind of sum up with 10 UX principles for XR. And also for XReality, we are helping with content. We want to encourage people to create more content. And also we want people to kind of start your own, your own app, or start your own thing. And since company doesn't need a lot of people, and everybody can kind of start doing something that is meaningful to you, to people, to others. And also I am thinking about maybe we can turn XReality less for career, less for job hunting focus, but more like hey, start your own thing and see how we can help you monetize it, right? So we are like a platform that we create a lot of fun content, and we want to kind of help each individuals generate your own audience, and as a group, as a team, and we grow together, and we kind of get more content and get more cool stuff done. And yeah, I mean, we got a stage, we got audience, and see, and we need every week, or every other days, or every days, we need somebody to be on the stage to entertain people, right? So see what we can do. And I believe everyone has something that we all can learn from. Yeah, so that's my point of view. Yeah, anybody, any thoughts for new shows? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just dropped a link in the chat to an
Oh.
article on holographic lenses.
Oh,
Very
wow.
interesting tech piece.
Wow, the Holy Grail. Oh, wow. So yeah, I mean, if you can drop into the LinkedIn Live, that would be awesome, because I mean, I just have to redo it, reshare it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think Google Glass, that types of things will come pretty soon though, because you see, what's that? Ray-Ban Generation 2. I got Generation 1, and it's so hard to fit my face, because I think that is designed for more white people. I don't want to bring race here, but I need to buy the nose pad for my nose, because I have a super small nose. So yeah, just saying. But the second generation, it takes care of people with very small nose, which is amazing.
Oh, one thing I worry about is that I'm a bifocal eyeglass wearer.
Hmm.
And do you know anyone who has bifocals who's also successfully used a headset? And is there any headset that's better for people with bifocals? And when you're using a headset, would you be using your distance prescription? Would you need to have both prescriptions? Or how does that work for people with prescription eyewear who also want to use a headset?
I think Apple solved this problem. Yeah, like for example, if you want to book a session, which they close it, at developer lab in Apple's headquarters, they ask you, there's a section, they ask you, do you have prescription for your glass? and tell them your prescription, and they can customize for you. So Apple did a good job for example, if you have a glass and you can get the prescriptive one, I think they kind of customize the glass for you, which also means that if you own that headset, right? For example, oh, I got a Vision Pro. You probably, I don't know how it works because yeah, I don't want to represent Apple and I don't want to share anything inside the lab, but I'm just curious, how can you share device, right? For example, you got your own prescribed, device, and how can the other person share with you? You probably need to have your own device instead of everybody share one headset. In Quest 3, you can do everybody share. For example, for you see live demos or anything, everybody line up and try one because it's one for everybody. But for prescribed, you can do prescription for Vision Pro.
You
Yeah.
just hold the headset in front of your regular glasses. Would that be
Uh,
doable?
I think for the headset that is very expensive, you can do the prescribed glass. And I would say prescribed is probably the way that the light project on the screen. It's not really the glass itself is prescribed. It's just the way that the screen, the light projection, it's in the way that your eyes feel comfortable in different in different situations. So I talked to somebody with low vision and he tried Vision Pro. He said that Vision Pro really perfectly helping him to see more contrasty world, because people with low vision, one of the thing is that the contrast is not good enough for them to tell the object. So people with low vision, when they see the world, they need more contrast for them to see the object. So the contrast of what they see need to be more. So yeah, so I
Yeah, it
think
seems
Vision
yeah, it
Pro
seems
is
like the system should be able to just like pre-distort the image so that even without any physical glass there, it'll come out right once it hits the retina and back.
yeah. Yeah, I think prescription will be conquered, that's for sure. And also the size of it. If you see Snapdragon, Qualcomm's chips, right? It start getting smaller and they are doing the kind of like the wearable glass, like your glass, right? I saw your picture, you have a glass, something like that lightweight, and they do the projections. Because imagine that little chips need to contain the entire huge computer calculation capacity, and also it needs to do the projection, and that projection needs to be really amazing. Why? Because very powerful, because it's see-through. There are two or a couple of ways of representation on the glass. One is pass-through, which is the opaque, right? It's opaque and it just have the camera seeing outside and reproject into the inner glass. That's passing through. The other one is see-through. See-through means that it's the clear glass that you need super strong light, laser light or something. I couldn't say any detail engineer technology, but some really strong light to project on the clear glass. And what if the wall is white, right? And if you want to project like the thing on the white background, is extremely hard because it's RGB. Yeah. So yeah, if the background is very light, it's impossible to project things on top of it. So in order to conquer that, and those types of glass people like to wear outside, so it's very likely the background will be very light, bright in under the sun, right? So that small chips need to conquer not only calculation but also the projection. So yeah, I think Qualcomm is trying to develop something like that. So in the future, it will be the war of chips, right? Yeah, so everybody need to invent more powerful chips for spatial computing plus AI. And I think Ori, the CEO of AWE, he mentioned that XR is the interface for AI. So AI is a smart brain. It has a lot of data, but XR or spatial computing is the visual representation of that AI big model. So yeah, and we are the visual animals. Whatever we see, whatever we experience is better than whatever we see all the numbers. So yeah, so I can see spatial computing won't go away, and will go big once the 3C problems got solved.
Well, the killer app for me is going to be AR glasses that will give me a caption with people's names over their heads.
Oh, that's
Horrible
great.
with
Yeah,
tracking
who can
names and
remember?
faces for people. You know, I've met somebody at a conference 8 years ago, and they invariably will remember me, and they'll come up to me as if I was right in the middle of the last conversation I had with them. And I'm like, okay,
Oh,
how can I avoid mentioning his name until he or someone in this group of people who are chatting mentions his name to me so that I can pretend that I didn't forget who he was?
yeah. How can we solve this problem? This might be a
You know, and if the
hackathon.
glass just showed him, there's the guy's name and his affiliation on the second line underneath the name, then I'm golden.
Yeah, I think this can be a hackathon topics, right? How can we kind of invent a AR glass that allows us to remember everybody's name and it's AR glass? Because I know there's apps that are doing that. If you Google there are a couple of apps that kind of, but in order to do that, you kind of need to manually to put the image of the person's face and also that thing. And I think in order to do that, maybe some device, I would think maybe Apple's device might be able to do that. Because, when you want to know somebody or exchange contact, you just overlay each other's iPhone and the contact will sync automatically through device. So there might be need more cross-platform, like OpenXR, something that we all need to upload, which also related to security issue, right? So developer can get so much information about a person's everything. And how can we even hold our temptations to do anything not so good, but benefit, self benefit, right? So how can we even protect people's information for security issues? So there are a lot of things we can talk about, and in XR we need everybody. Yeah, so I think XR is a fascinating thing. It's not exclusive anyone, but also I have a chapter in the book which talking about diversity, DEI, diversion, equality, and I, inclusion. So for XR development, we need to include all the race, all the age, all the genders, and there are tons of genders if you want to dive in that. So yeah, I think this XR world is pretty much the next generation or next layers of digital world. We need everybody. Yeah. So any thoughts, comments? Anyone want to
Yeah,
share anything?
you hit on a very important topic is being able to have that information as a developer to do cool stuff, but at the same time maintaining the data privacy of the individual. That's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, because
Go
ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking in particular, I think it's Apple Pro doesn't allow the developer to get the eye position information, but it'll give it to you directly. It's like you tell it you. I don't know it well, so I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. If somebody can correct me if I'm not. Um, but you request some kind of information, and the Apple Pro will get the information from the eyes and give it back to you in a form that's not like directly the user's eye positioning. The thing that would be nice about having the actual eye position is in an AI social simulation, for instance, you could, or a video game where you got your characters, NPCs walking around, that they could look at you and they would know if you're looking at them. and to have them respond based on where you're looking would be pretty amazing. But now we're again going back to the problem with the data privacy, being able to know where the person's looking, and and then you got the issue with the data privacy. So, anyways, yeah, that's the conflict.
Yeah, right. I think for data conflict, data privacy, it's always something, and people like to, share, because if you share your information, your life will be much easier, right? And people normally do the lazy way and just give all the information, and it up to the company, who can do something like helping us protect it, which is probably not. And which go back to Peter's previous saying that, hey, how can I get something that is so open and I'm so independent, I don't need any other platform to host my thing. I think you can do something. For example, I remember there's a company doing one glass, and they hook up OpenAI. But if you do AI thing, right, it's prompt chat. You say something, and the glass will hear what you say, and they are programming integrate with ChatGPT. So whatever you say, and ChatGPT will answer the answer and project on the glass. So long time ago, I was doing the pitch deck, pitch to investor. And every time when investor asks me like, oh, what's ROI? What's the number? I'm a person who is so bad at numbers. So I wish, if there's a smart glass that I put all the data in, and, somebody asks me the question, I can see the chat sheet. That would be great. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like the machine will be smarter and smarter, and people will be not so smart.
Yeah, that's another concern.
Yeah, right. I think the next generation, people will start losing their voice because ChatGPT's respond will be more proper and no grammar mistakes, perfect English, and the people will start, become more professional, or, somehow enhanced by AI, but also start losing their really authentic. We are human, we make mistakes. So we will start losing that, the types of, imperfection types of things. Everybody will start feel very, very ChatGPT-ish. Cool. Yeah. Any other things? I mean, this is the last episode, but I think people just stay at home and and see what to be entertained. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have everybody, and start probably next week, or next. Yeah, I would say start with next week. We will start doing the interesting rotating show. It doesn't have to be me, because before it was me, XReality Pro or Academy, former Academy. Start with me getting microphone. You see, 5 years ago, I even bought like a karaoke microphone. I didn't even know what I was doing, and start talking about XR. Start with that every Saturday, and it becomes like something that we run a community. And now I think I will pass my microphone to people who participate. I think we all have voice, and XReality Pro platform love to be the stage for everybody to share your own expertise, and hopefully, we all monetize from it. And we do revenue share if we got anything. So yeah, so feel free to contact me, and later on we will have Patreon page, and some, some membership stuff for example, like to help us to pay off the platform fee, right? And to support us, and so we can keep running the show full time and provide a better quality content, provide a better stage, more finalized video editing. Because if you go back to see our audios, the interesting thing is that people mention that when they rewatch the YouTube play, at the beginning we all chat something, and later on somebody say, "Hey, it's alive," and we start going back, and we didn't even edit those types of like things out. It looks authentic, but at some point we probably need to start making everything more tight and more professional. Even though I really don't like, I mean, we at some point we need to be professional. Yeah, yeah, and also learn and get improve of the quality of our presentation. Okay, Peter.
You're muted.
Hey, Peter, do you want to unmute yourself?
It might have been a
Oh,
mistake.
sorry about that. I just dropped a link to a classic symbolic AI question answering system dissertation in the sidebar. So you can grab that. It's a very interesting read.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, those are very interesting. And maybe, you know, Peter, if you are interested in large language model, teach us how to do one, right? Teach us, because I know that you can pretty much go to Hugging Face and get all the source code and implement to Blender and make a stable diffusion text prompt types of for Blender. So maybe there's another interesting skill shared, any interesting things that we can do to kind of do the skill share. And for us, we are doing more like a rotating, kind of like a people just show up in 1 hour and see what you want to share with the audience. And also if, you know, everybody loves to see your show, we can see the number, right? If everybody love to see your show, and we grow and grow, and maybe later on we can be a workshop, right? Right now we have like we use more like those types of talk or share skill things as a data. We look at what our audience like or what market needs, and if the data or the audience is growing bigger and bigger, which means that audience loves this topic, we start doing the charge workshop more like a tailors to the topic, and we do like a more sprint, in 4 hours and later on 8 hours or 3 months, just like a slowly expand. And once we do that, we will do revenue share for those types of kind of like a established workshop. So yeah, so we love to support all the individuals, especially people want to explore XR topics. We love to kind of keep the upcoming show. The upcoming show probably will call XReality Laboratory, XReality experimental thing. Because I personally like to explore the world, and I think professional is it's like you need to start with quantity, right? You just throw things, you just keep showing up, right? You just keep showing up, and the more you show up, the better later on you can pick what's the good quality. You start explore, and later on you have the quality, right? And you explore things, and later on you got quality, and you kind of finalize it and make it better and better. So yeah, right now just show up and give your content and share us what you learn. And I find out that what ChatGPT cannot do is that your personal experience, right? Like Peter's experience, like my experience. So that's why I got a lot of interviews for the book that I'm writing, because I find out that AI can generate, or you can search anything on Google, right? But filter out what's good and what's hallucination and personal experience. Those two are probably in the future what we can do. We filter out what's false or what's hallucination, and we also share more personal experience about what you think about, you know, for example, law and programming are the same thing, even though I don't know how you see that, but it's interesting to see a lot of things at the beginning. When we see it, it's very different, but at the end, when we see it, we feel it's harmony in the God mode, right? We lift up ourselves, right? When we see the earth, everything is harmony, very beautiful. But when we get into it, we see a lot of argument, right? We see wars, a lot of things. But when we see it again, we see actually, we are just human beings and we want good life. We want to be happy. We want to do something that we like every day. So yeah, so we are trying to do something that even though I know there will be a lot of like things happening in the future. For example, like recently I just worry about the war between Taiwan and China. I'm from Taiwan. But I would say that see how we can do something. If we can do something that is more towards the same goal, then might avoid a lot of bad things. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Cool. Any thoughts, comments? Cool. Yeah, that's just yeah. Say goodbye to 2023, and next year we will have a lot of cool shows. And yeah, I will drop my emails. Yeah, so if you wanna interested in share your skills, feel free just to send me an email or contact me on LinkedIn message. Yeah. And let me know and we can have a call and see how we can do it. The skill share will be, voluntarily, you do whatever you want. And when we get into if, you grow and, you grow your audience, right? And your personal followers, right? And later on, if we want to do workshop, it's a paid workshop later on, right? 4 hours, 8 hours, 1 month, 3 months, and we do revenue share. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. And
Hey,
I will
Dominique,
see you next year. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dominic.
Yeah.
what do
Bye.
what do you
Oh, go ahead.
think
Yeah.
about in Unity?
Unity. Yeah. I mean, if you see our fan page, the really early one, I think is January 2nd, right? It will be me showing up and share with you some experimental stuff. We kind of want to make everything more experimental. The reason why is because XR changes so fast. And it's very hard to even publish a book or anything or create a course because once you create, it's out there already. So yeah, so we keep it, everything is more, very loose. I don't want to say loose, but wasting people's time, but we want to make it very experimental, very interesting, no pressure, and people share and people show up, share, and create your own followers. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy New Year.
Year. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.